I got myself as a nurse being so overwhelmed with helping everyone else, looking after small children, looking after my parents, looking after the friends as a being compassionate person, always being at the end of the call for whatever support, emotional support you offer those people around you, the loved ones. You became like the lighthouse. So you shine that light and everyone just comes to you. However, this could also exhaust you very much. And if you're not aware, that can affect you a lot.
This is Chocolate and Coffee Break, a compassionate proposition, a space to share stories, bridge divides, and spark meaningful connections. So grab your chocolate, pour your cuppa, and let's break down barriers, one conversation at a time. And now, here's your host, Andrea Pudding.
And welcome to another Chocolate and Coffee Break. And I hope you've got your chocolate and your cuppa and you're ready to share with us again today with another amazing guest. Now, some people seem to have a natural instinct to care. They're the people who answer the phone, the people who check in, the people who show up. We admire that quality in others. But I sometimes wonder what happens when the people everyone relies on become the people who need support themselves. So that's our topic for today, and we're going to explore this with Oksana Samkova. So welcome to Chocolate and Coffee Break, Oksana.
Thank you, Andrea, for welcoming me. And this is such an important topic.
I'm very happy to be able to have you on the show. I'm looking forward to our conversation very much. And we start the conversation every time with a heart-opening question. So my one for today is, who is someone who has made you feel truly cared for?
So is this question for me?
Yes, it is.
That's right. So absolutely, I believe that I started my journey, as I say, with a compassionate journey, probably with my family and my grandmother, my mother, all women in my life who were absolutely caring. And very often I know that my name is Oksana, so it's quite an unusual name, but it's a very usual name for Ukraine. So I come from Ukraine. And I remember from my childhood, my caring grandmother, full of love. I used to carry this bowl of soup on the street to other old ladies. She always used to look after everyone on the street because she was an amazing cook. And I'll remember as a child, I will go with the jar of soup to, auntie so-and-so, auntie so-and-so, even though we're not related, but they've always been looked after. So it's kind of like it was very beautiful feeling of everyone looks after everybody in the village, because that's where my grandmother lived, in Ukrainian village on the farm. And of course my mother as well, because my dad was a military officer, so he was always away working. And my mother cared for everyone, and I became as an eldest daughter, also caring after my brother. And I guess from that point, I would be encouraged always, being very compassionate to my, friends and family. And I love looking after animals. And in fact, I wanted to become a vet, but I became a nurse, so looking after people and caring after everyone. So I think that's what brought me into this profession.
Yes. So what is it about that? Do you find that, do you feel like that is a cultural thing that you brought up with, that just has you, I have to care for people, or is it part of you?
Yes, I think it's a bit of both as well. I think by nature we are caring, and some of us caring more than the others, and also the culture and its expectation. I remember since I was young, I have this expectation of being caring and helping everyone. And as a woman, that role often goes in the cultural background where I came from, looking after their man and looking after, the family. So it is quite a lot of expectation goes on with our upbringing. And I guess from that point, you feel that it is an obligation to care after others. However, what I never remember is anybody telling me that caring after yourself is very important. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Absolutely, and that's something we'll get into as we go through today, because that's what we're both very passionate about these days. We learnt the hard way. So you naturally, did you feel like it was a natural progression to go into nursing for you?
Yes, I did feel like that. I always were very compelled to be in that caring profession, as they say. And it that kind of filled my heart. I always felt my heart was filled with love and perhaps, some I was valuing myself by looking after other people and helping them. So I thought the more people I help, the better I am, perhaps. Looking back into it now, and um, and that's what often happens with compassion. Um, Sometimes it is a little bit how we feel about ourselves, and we don't have that constant reminder of that you matter no matter what you do,
Yes.
and you are being valued not by what you do, but who you are. And we don't hear those words very often. And again, we became very, very fixated on helping others, and that's how we value it. It's almost like becoming, that brownie points.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but this is how I kind of feel, is that if I am not doing something that's caring for others or in some way, that I feel like my life would be worthless. Do you feel that way? Is that
Yes, in some, yes. Now you said that question, I believe that I would probably feel that way. But as I've struggled with the compassion fatigue, and this is something I will talk a bit more about it, I understand how important it is to look after ourselves and also where our capacity is and how our energy goes. Because we often put a guilt on ourselves when we feel that we don't look after everyone, and it becomes very, in a way, a little bit addictive.
yes?
And as you said, that you feel, oh, I haven't called this person, I haven't checked on them, and that becomes a habit. That becomes a habit of a compassionate heart. And often compassion fatigue called cost of caring.
Yeah.
You probably heard that impression before. And yeah, we do put a lot of pressure on ourselves. And knowing myself as a nurse, I've been a nurse for 32 years now and working in 4 different countries. And I came across lots of compassionate people. And I also witnessed how it affects caring people who care for others, because it becomes a part of our life and routine. And very slowly, it doesn't happen overnight, but very slowly we overwhelm ourselves. Our energy flows out all the time, and compassion fatigue is a very strong thing, not just for professionals who look after people who are suffering, who are in pain. You want to fix them, you want not to fix them, but you want to take the pain away, in a way, whatever suffering that might be, physical, mental, emotional. You would like to feel them better, and often you can't. And by being there, you do make a difference. However, it also takes a lot of energy out. And I remember one time I came to the point where I was working 2 jobs, always roster, always shift work. I had little children at the time. My relationship wasn't going well with my partner at the time, and my husband's at home because I was constantly tired. And I got myself to such a point where I I went to work one day and I literally collapsed. I collapsed and I became on the other side. I became a patient. And I did not like that. I did not like that because it made me feel weak. It made me feel inadequate. It made me feel like something wrong with me. However, looking back before this point, I've ignored all the signs. I've ignored all the signs of compassion fatigue, ignored all the signs of burnout, and I just kept going because that's what we've been taught.
And it's really hard as someone who, I was going to say carer, but not the carer as in the professional carer, but the people who care. It's hard for us to let go of that, because there's always someone that needs that little bit extra love, that little bit extra care. And if I don't do it, then who's going to do it? And if I don't do it, then I'm going to be awake in the middle of the night thinking about them and worrying about them.
Yes.
Because I've had many nights like that, and I'm sure you have too. So let's jump on to a quick chocolate break, because I'm going to dive into my beautiful Lindt chocolate here and see who is supporting the show. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment while we're doing that. Thank you.
When I perimenopause, all I heard was doom and decline, until I took a sacred pause and I went searching for women who are radiant after menopause, like Dr. Christiane Northrup, Dr. Vandana Shiva, and the late Dr. Gladys McGarry, still shining at 103. In this book, I share their stories and wisdom and the magic that menopause truly holds. 7 Wonders of Menopause is a sacred reminder. You're not ending, you're returning. Available at independent bookshops in Australia and Amazon around the world.
Did you know that only 30% of speakers are women and that only 13% of panels feature women? In order to change that, there is now a directory at womenspeakers.com.au where you can go and search for a speaker. We also have groups on Facebook and LinkedIn under the name Australian Women Speakers, where you can just go and post about your event and women will respond.
And we're here today with Oksana Samkova and talking about compassion and how it fatigues us. So I think many of us know what it's like to be the person people turn to, but life has a way of humbling us sometimes. So Oksana, has there been a time when you found yourself needing the kind of support that you normally give others?
Yes, absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, with the story where I got myself as a nurse being so overwhelmed with helping everyone else, looking after small children, looking after my parents, looking after the friends, as a being compassionate person, always being at the end of the call for whatever support, emotional support you offer those people around you, the loved ones. You became like the lighthouse. So you shine that light and everyone just comes to you. However, this could also exhaust you very much. And if you're not aware, that can affect you a lot. And when I collapsed at work, after ignoring all the signs of compassion fatigue and burnout, and I became a patient myself, and I find it very much relying on other people who would be compassionate towards me and had to help me, because I couldn't drive for a while. I had to still look after my children. It was a difficult time at that point, and I couldn't really function without people around me who cared and helped. So very much appreciated that. And I also was aware, I always felt guilty to ask for help, because this is what happens with compassionate hearts. We are so used to give our compassion out all the time, that when it comes to us, we're absolutely to the point where we are stuck and we feel so guilty to ask for help. I don't know if you ever felt that, Andrea.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially asking for help. It's a learning. I had to learn how to. And it took me a long time. And even now, I notice that, I'm not easily asking for help, but I do recognize when I need it right now, and I really appreciate the time and energy of other people, and always being grateful for those who help me. Absolutely, and I still can continue being compassionate.
Why do you think
Yeah.
it's so hard to receive more than give?
Yeah, I think it's from how I see it, that is, we are not used to it to start with.
Yeah.
That's number one. So it's again, everything is a habit, and if we are used to give all the time, give it out, it's simply not learned to receive that care and compassion, and that could come from all different backgrounds as well. You might be growing up with very busy parents who always been working, and you are tend to yourself, and you learn to be independent, and in a way that kind of empowering yourself, that I can do everything myself. So that's pretty a good start. I can do it all. That's a good start. But then when you become very heroic, and you think that, okay, the more I help, the better I feel, because you start valuing yourself on how many people you help, how many hours you spend with someone. You kind of it becomes a bit addictive, right? It's like chocolate. You're having a piece of chocolate in your hand, and you can have a small piece and really enjoy it. But you can also be on the other end, where the chocolate becomes addictive.
Yes.
You think, okay, what is it substituting? What chocolate substitute in your life? Is that substitute, you eat lots of chocolate? Is that sweetness? Is it comfort? Is it, making you feel good? Is it, and that's the same with compassion. So compassion is like chocolate. It's very well, like you're good at giving the gifts, but you're not very good at receiving those gifts, and you feel, oh, no need. How many times you said, oh, no need, no need to accept even simple compliments. Someone said, oh, you're beautiful. Oh, no, don't mention that. So it isn't. It's an art of receiving, caring, and care on the other side, and it becomes very, very important as you learn. And I've experienced it on myself, and I've seen with other people how compassion affects you so much, being caring for everyone else. How when you look at that, at the phone, when someone calls you, and you think, oh, not them again, and that could be people you love. Yeah, that could be people you love. It not necessarily could be a friend, or it could be your mother calling.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to them now. I've all had those experiences.
Yeah,
I'll call them back when I'm.
Yes, 100%. And again, by when we are, that becomes a recognition where our energy go. And if you think about who do you help right now in your life, I'm sure you will have one person in mind. If you just have a little thought and think, okay, is this one person there I can think of that could, when they call, or maybe I could avoid, but I still can't, maybe for some reasons, because they will get upset, or they will call me names, or because I'm used to always being that helping hand. I'm sure there is always someone in your life, and you're thinking, okay, when you spend so much energy giving this out, it does affect you. And you shouldn't feel guilty about setting a healthy boundaries. And this is something if I have time, I will just have a moment to explain what healthy boundaries are. And we will, we start with, I always imagine that our compassion, it's like water in the bottle, okay, or in the cup. You always say in the cup, but I like to think of it's like water bottle, which you drink in, and it's essential for you. And then imagine you're going to a place like a desert where there's no water. And here you go with this bottled water, and there's everyone there, and it's thirsty. There's so many people you care for, and they're all thirsty. And yeah, sure. And you're giving all this water to all the people, and then you end up with no water at all. And there's a still long journey, and there's nowhere to get this water. And you think, okay, you've helped 10 people. You're thirsty. You have nowhere to get this energy or water, and you still got hundreds ahead to help. So how are you going to do that as well? So it's by looking at this point of compassion, it's very important to have it towards yourself.
Yes.
And that might feel a little bit like, oh yeah, I look after myself. I have a chocolate and a coffee, I have a nice face mask, I have a massage. That's also very important. However, it's all about energy.
Yeah. So let's talk more about that when we've had a break, because I need to dive into a little bit more chocolate and see who's supporting the show.
Introducing 123 Read to Me. We give books to children who don't have books so they can succeed. Help us give away books to supported playgroups, kindergartens, schools, community events. Come and sort books. Donate money. $5 equals one book in the hand of a child. Because just one book a day creates clever, kind and confident kids. 123 Read to Me. If this interests you, let's talk.
You've ticked the boxes: career, commitments, calendar that's more packed than your pantry, but something's still missing. In Compassionate Purpose, Andrea Putting invites you to stop chasing busy and start living with intention. This book is about real fulfillment through small acts of compassion, purpose-driven service, and meaning that last. No pressure, no perfection, just purpose with heart. Compassionate Purpose, Discovering a Life of Fulfillment. Search for Andrea Putting on Amazon. And we're back with Oksana Samkova, and we're talking about compassion fatigue, because those of us who have a lot of compassion do sometimes, well, we give and we give and we give, and we do forget about ourselves. And what happens is that at some stage we do find that it affects us, it can affect our health. And I've found that myself. So this is something that is very close to my own heart, my own stories. But I'm struck by how easy it is for caring people to disappear from their own lives without noticing it. We're just so busy with everyone else's that there's no time for our own life. But what have you come to understand about compassion that you didn't understand before?
What I've learned through my own journey, being very compassionate by profession and by nature as well, that compassion is love. Is love and care. And love and care, what I've learned is that you matter yourself. You matter, and you deserve this compassion and care towards yourself as much as you give it to others. And it might sound very simple to say, oh yeah, I'm just gonna turn it towards myself and I'm okay, I've got this. But it is actually a journey. It is a very big journey towards rediscovering, I guess, the self-worth and self-value and importance of caring for yourself as well, as much as you care for others.
Yes.
Because when you write a list of people who you want to help and you look at that list, where is your name on that list? And we became quite ignorant and neglecting. And when we neglect ourselves, then that's when we struggle. We struggle to the point where we don't have time, energy, or we actually forgot what it is to be like looking after our own selves. And what I want you to everyone ask, if they could, when have you decided that you don't matter?
Yeah, Because I do know a lot of people, particularly women, who and they actually don't think that they deserve. Somehow, there's this thing that they don't deserve the care that they give to other people.
Yeah.
Which is it's a sad thing, but it's really interesting to think, well,
Mm-hmm.
where is your self-esteem that you think that you don't deserve that as well?
Yeah, and it is a combination because I had to dive into a lot of studies about compassion fatigue and why is it happening. And it is a combination of all different things, and it's upbringing. This is also expectation, the culture expectation, societal expectation, and that could be a job we choose as well, and that all compounds together. And we haven't been taught that you are important. Just think about it. Whoever taught you and say, Andrea, you matter, you're important as much as you help others. No one said that to you.
No, but that's the interesting thing is that when we're children, we get that impression that we are the centre of our parents' lives. And where does that change that we're no longer feeling like we are important?
That's it. And this is how we come back again to how important it is to understand that if you do not turn this compassion towards yourself, the consequences be very strong. And this is not just exhaustion, overwhelm, but that comes into your physical body. That also you become you feeling insignificant, you feeling unvalued, you feeling very low motivated about doing anything. And sometimes we get lost in helping others, and we actually forget who we are and what we do ourselves for us. That joy, that passion, and you think, oh, I used to play this, I used to go out. But people who are struggling with compassion fatigue, you can find that they're very, very unmotivated, they're struggling, their energy is so low, they actually haven't got, when they come home and it's time for caring for themselves, they have no energy left.
Yes.
And this is how very, very important, but it's not only if they're job compassionate, they work as carers or look after others, and they'll come home and they have absolutely no time or energy, and they also feel like, oh, it doesn't matter.
Well, it does matter, and I now have on my calendar every month. I have it's just standard in my calendar, Andrea Day, and I have to take a day off. I can do whatever I want that's caring for me. So I keep telling people that and trying to encourage people to do that, is to take that time just for themselves to do whatever it is they want to do. Some days I'll go out with friends. Other days I'll just veg in front of the TV because that's what I need to do. But how do people recognize that they're getting to that point of compassion fatigue?
Yeah, so there is a couple of signs to look for, and we often they don't come just overnight. It's a compounded effect. So it all starts with the quite being fatigued in the way of very, very low energy. Your mood changes. You're unmotivated for the things you used to love. You start saying no to things where it used to be enjoyable. You stop maybe communicating and seeing friends or going out with people. Even, when you have family, you are surrounded by people, but you feel lonely. That can very often happens. And it's just in the way that you feel like you don't want to burden your close ones. You don't want to share any struggles with them because, again, you think, oh, they don't deserve feeling all my struggles. Yeah, I don't want to burden them. And this is, again, that comes back to you. When did you decide that, sharing your struggles is a burden on others? But because you've been exhausted from listening from other people, and you do feel like a burden, you don't want to reciprocate that. But
Yes.
It's a bit different as well. And that's yeah.
So let's do it quickly. Every week I do Brew the Change challenge. And this week, think about someone in your life who is usually the one helping everyone else. The person who checks in, the person who organises, the person who carries more than most people realise. This week, reach out to them, not simply because you need something. Simply ask, how are you really doing? Then make space for the answer. So thank you, Oksana. How can people get in touch with you if they want to find out more?
You can just simply look for my name on LinkedIn or Facebook, Oksana and Andrea. And
Thank you, Oksana. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. So until next time, let love be the loudest voice.
thank you so much.